Hello and welcome back to Bystanders. I am your host, DM, and editor, Michael. It has been a while since any of this has happened, so, I'm still trying to get back into the swing of editing and all of that. As always, a huge shout out and thank you is necessary for both Gwinn and Shady Cicada. They've let us use their wonderful music for this little project of ours, and endless thanks goes to them. Also, we have a public Discord server. The link to that should be in the description down below. Please feel free to check it out, fuck around, and perhaps find out. And if you want to have your own game of JoJo Dungeons and Dragons, there is a website that is currently in the works to let you easily navigate a rule set and set of pages for that. So please, if you're interested in running a game similar to this one with you and some friends, please feel free to check it out. And with all that out of the way, we can begin this week's episode.
Donovan's a virgin and Damien is a himbo. Let's go.
Woo. Okay, welcome back to Himbo Standards.
Both correct statements.
We left off last time. You all got back from what I can only describe as a massacre.
Well, we all didn't get back.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, only two people died.
But, well, 4 people.
4 people did die.
Oh, I forgot about the bad guys.
Well, what
that
happened?
was important.
So let's see. Half Alive dude got away. Karma just hid and then was never seen again.
Fade in, fade out of consciousness.
Rose
Yeah,
and
knocked
Lloyd
him out,
were
but
killed,
still
as
alive.
were Clementine and Tangerine.
Right. What happened with Fade In, Fade Out?
Ow! She passed out
They fell
because we punched her a bunch.
Just unconscious.
I
Okay.
forgot about that.
We
one.
punched
That was
her a
creepy,
decent. We punched her a decent amount of times, and she couldn't handle it.
It was a comic amount of time.
I was going to say a decent amount of trolling.
It was a.
Wasn't it you and Damien up there?
Yeah, it was a humorous. No, it was you. It doesn't matter. It's past episode. We'll have to listen on the. I think it was you and Rose.
Oh yeah, it was me and Rose.
Time for some more humorous instances.
Yeah, you two, or I should say you three, are the remaining bystanders. Donovan, you said you had something
Yes.
you
So
wanted to do. So
but
you
then-
all kind of get back to the escape. Some time has passed. Dr. A has said something about making some progress towards finding who he is. So that is something important to consider. I assume you all kind of go to bed, head to bed for the night, just kind of rinse off all of that. So
Yes, Damien does take a long shower, which is a notable thing.
yes.
All right.
I will say Steve, he ended the last episode when Carl came in and talked to him and he was on his bed. As soon as Carl left and I'm trying to remember. His parents left before. So after Carl talked to him, he just got back in bed and just stayed in bed. Yeah.
All right.
He sleep.
Yeah.
So
Oh, he's
on the night of Lloyd's death, we're all shaken up. Someone made some donuts. Was it Carl? No, was it Guy who made donuts? He had one of Guy's donuts. He didn't eat too terribly much. He didn't really have an appetite afterwards. And then he went to bed. And Donovan Halen had a dream. No. The dream was very simple. He was pinned to a wall with just about 100 knives pinning him to a wall, and Steve restrained on the ground in front of Tangerine. And with not being able to do anything, not being able to summon Back in Black, Tangerine would grin, take a hammer, and go in for a blow on Steve's head, which is when Donovan would wake up about 4 hours into the night. Because he's a hormone user, he has to sleep less. He wakes up, he's in a cold sweat, he's not having a good time, his breathing is ragged, the scarf is not a single bit of rainbow because his breathing's ragged. And he's just... And immediately he sends Back in Black just out of pure instinct to go zoom into Steve's room and see that he's okay. And of course he would be sleeping, I would assume.
Yes.
Steve be
He's
like,
gone.
And after breathing a
He has a
sigh,
hammer in his head.
That sucks.
and after breathing
boom.
And after breathing a sigh of relief, Back in Black goes back to Donovan's room and he sits up on his bed, unable to fall back asleep. He then thinks for a bit. Since he can't fall back to sleep, he makes a construct bouncy ball, slams it around for a bit, and he gets to thinking about everything. He thinks for a while, actually, and then he remembers a few bits of information. He sends Back in Black into Steve's room and begins looking through his jacket for the card that Detective George gave him. Do I have to roll for that, or can he just find it?
Find it pretty easily.
It's just right there in his jacket pocket.
He grabs it, slips it into the door, and eventually Donovan himself gets the card, and he goes out onto the bridge of the escape, or just onto the deck, to make a quick call. I Why am I doing that? They
Yeah, I
can't
don't know
see-
why you're pulling up your phone.
All right, so I'm calling Detective George right now.
What time is it?
It's like the middle of the night. I have no idea.
Like
if he's-
4 a.m.
Yeah, it's like
He'll
4
leave a
a.m.
message if
2
necessary.
a.m.
No.
It rings a couple times and you hear Detective George.
Hey, it's Donovan from work. No, well, you know me.
Yeah, Donovan. What's up?
So I have a bit of a hypothetical for you.
Mm-hmm.
If, per se, the police force were to find a few bodies out in the middle of a field next to an abandoned warehouse, next to the collapsed building, and took them back to the state, could I theoretically go and get those if I, per se, had the authority of one of the city's top autopsy doctors?
Was this theoretically Damian Drake's handiwork, Mr. Halen?
Theoretically, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Don't blame me exclusively. I only killed 2 of them.
No, you
Oh.
didn't.
Yeah. Give me a second. Tell me the location. I'll meet you there.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
you
right.
can bring, if you have someone who can perform an autopsy, bring them as well.
All right, okay.
I'll be out there in 32 minutes. I need to make a cup of fucking coffee.
All right, thank you. Sorry for waking you up.
No, it's fine.
He panic hung up and then he Dr. A?
Yes.
Hi, I need your help with something. So, we kind of left Lieutenant Clementine's and Tangerine's bodies where we killed them, and you have the Unforgiven.
Hold on. They're powerful stand users, and you just left their bodies intact?
Intact is not intact, but we definitely left them there. I think you'd give us a pass because
We
were a
need
bit
to go
distraught.
now if
That's-
there in any... Okay.
Why did we
I'll get the
not
car.
make sure?
We
there
were,
That's a
was-
great
we were a
question.
bit emotionally
We
distraught.
were, but holy shit, we completely forgot that they brought Hound Dog back.
Yeah.
Donovan.
And also just, the Unforgiven memory funnies.
Yeah,
let's-
All right, so Donovan does know how to drive. Unless Dr. A wants to drive.
You can also wake up
doesn't
Steve.
drive?
But
He knows how to drive.
Dr. A definitely knows how to drive.
Who drive? Would he drive better? Because now that he's a young
Dr.
man.
Dr. A could drive okay, even
Okay,
as an
yeah.
9-year-old man. The question is, do you want to wake up the others?
He doesn't. It's been a long day. He does not really want to wake up the others at all. He wants them to sleep.
They're probably getting better sleep than usual if they are asleep because Damian Drake actually isn't snoring. Because he's not asleep. He's just lying in his bed.
Blasphemy.
Bruh.
Steve is he is so asleep he could be dead and you would not. He's
Don't
just
say that. Don't say that.
He's just
But
he's so
Steve is just
from-
buenos noches.
I would say from how much damage he took in the fight earlier that day, he just needs to sleep and rest it off. Yeah.
Damien cannot sleep, but that's probably a good thing for
Man,
you
good
guys.
thing sleeping for 6 hours heals all wounds. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so we drive out to the. He calls back Detective George to tell her the address. Why am I doing this? No one can see this but you. I don't know.
Yes, she sounds
Not even
considerably...
Michael can see it.
She sounds considerably more awake, and she's up, and you can hear someone snoring in the background as she talks, but she says, yeah, I'll meet you in a few.
I need to tell the address. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember it off the top of my head, so we'll just say that they meet you there.
Nice.
Convenience. Yeah, so you all get there, and you all kind of look around, and you do see that the area has been, the bodies are no longer there. However, you do also realize that there is actually police tape around.
All right.
The implication is that somebody, or actually no, if you want, go ahead and make an investigation check, and Detective George will give you advantage on that.
Investigation, which.
It's intelligence.
All right.
You get advantage.
All right. Solid. 12.
Okay. You're not able to discern a whole lot, but it's not super difficult to figure out. You can see a couple police cars already pulled up. One belongs to Detective George, and one belongs to a couple of other Trivago PD officers. You see the yellow tape kind of stretched around. You see the area. You see the things drawn in the chalk. You're looking around, and as far as you can tell, it appears to be kind of a normal autopsy. Like they've taken the bodies already, but it appears that somebody heard the shots fired and all of that, and so police were called in. However, you do not see the unconscious figure of Marcia.
Right.
So,
well, I'm looking for the corpses of Tangerine and Clementine.
yes, but like I said, you cannot find them here. They have been taken.
Well, we have the guy who's like in charge of autopsies. We could probably just go to where the bodies are being. Where's the morgue? If they're at the morgue.
You'll probably have to. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of talk with Dr. A. Dr. A gets there. Gets you to the morgue. You all kind of enter. It's a kind of a cool room, a little uncomfortably cool. It smells. You were expecting it to smell like death and decay, but it smells like unnaturally sterile. Like someone has very clearly trying to mask the scent of death. So you kind of walk in and you see several bodies on this table, all kind of covered in a sheet. And you do recognize the twins lying on the operating table.
Twins and both halves of Tangerine, because you did split them in half.
I did. Would Rose and
Rose's bones?
Lloyd be there as well?
Lloyd
turned to a dust.
Lloyd disintegrated.
Right.
Rose's
Okay.
bones.
Right.
You do see a collection of bones laid out.
He looks away.
on
He
the
can't.
table.
He cannot bear to look at the bones.
You actually kind of take a peek though, and you see that a few of the bones are just gone.
I know. He splintered his thigh bone.
Yeah. The femur.
That was pretty cool.
Dr. A kind of looks over. Okay, so they're accounted for, but just to make sure, Dr. A goes over and sees the camera. He clicks it off. He pulls out a scalpel and removes the brains of the twins. So,
Thank God.
Do we have a place to keep those? Or do you have like a jar? I don't really know where this goes.
Could just like burn them. I don't know.
Why would we burn them? Dr. A can read their past hour memories. I hope it's not all in the back of a trunk, but I want to know where Clementine and Tangerine have been for the last hour before we fought them.
I'm going to remove a lot of the internal structure of the brain, and then probably put the rest of the all of the matter back into it. Okay. So that should keep it from activating with the mask.
I see.
So I'm going to do that real quick. Sorry, what did you say you wanted to do?
I was gonna have him use the Unforgiven to read their memories.
Yes. So before he does that, Dr. A puts his hands over to one of their minds. Kind of thinks for a little bit. It's kind of looking. It's difficult to make a lot of things out. There's pieces missing. Neither of the brains were left fully intact, so Lloyd shot through Tangerine's, and I think Damien just split.
I thought upside down is inside out, like
yes.
legs, and do you split them vertically and spend them half, or do you do it leg?
I killed them with upside down, inside out, right?
Where do you just the legs go
That's
down?
punching straight through their gut.
So it's horizontally split.
Yes,
Okay,
it would be
okay.
horizontally split.
So that means
And also a lot of their midsection internal organs go one way while the rest of them goes the other.
Thankfully, memories are not stored in the large
What's
intestine.
the dog doing?
Yes.
So Dr. A goes over, and there's not a lot he can get from Clementine, is the unfortunate
Right.
news. Because, a large caliber bullet entering the brain tends to not be great for the memory
kerfuffle
process.
some things.
Yeah, kerfuffle.
Very necessary.
However, he goes over to Tangerine's brain, and he appears to do relatively well. He kind of looks down. There's a conversation with several others. There's a man, a woman, and I can't quite tell their gender, but they're wearing one of those weird Russian hats.
We met them.
Something about a mission to kill some undead.
This would never happen.
Interesting.
He's saying something about some kind of sunlight-resistant undead. I'm Not exactly sure.
Now, either that means that that's truthful and there's yet another threat, or he's lying to his followers to get them to kill us thinking that we're undead. Like, the non-Tangerine Clementine stand users there might have genuinely thought that they were doing good by fighting us.
Can I roll insight on a memory, or can he roll insight on a memory?
Either way, and advantage either way. I'd say that. What's your wisdom score?
My wisdom, -1.
Have A do it.
We're probably gonna have Dr. A do it. Yeah.
He's the one reading the memory
Let's
anyway.
find your stat sheet, bud.
So the Cherry Wines discovered sunscreen.
SPF 5000.
Reduces 1d100 sunlight damage.
You still take the other 3d100.
SPF 1D100.
Oh, I thought it was only 2d100.
Here we go, Dr. A.
Oh no, it's 2d100 and then it gets doubled. Oh
Alright.
my god, I forgot
Yeah, you can
how
give
bad
you can
that
give
is.
him advantage
I
on
will.
that. Actually, tell you what, you can make either. No, that would be insight. His wisdom is +2, so
That's much better than -1.
That's better than -1.
okay, we'll take that, and you can give him advantage by
I will.
helping him.
I will.
Hey, that's an 18. Okay,
Fuck.
Dr. A kind of looks down. After that, he's climbing into a trunk.
Yeah.
And then you blow up the car. Okay. effective maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like while he was in the trunk he was cackling. But then it exploded and that stopped. So there's all of that. Okay.
Damn, I mashed
Yep,
up.
and there's Lloyd. We can skip past this part. Oh, that's traumatic. Okay, yep. And that's where the memory ends. Wow. Okay.
Upside down and inside out, and you can feel it.
It's just
going down.
It's just this part 1 character, POV, you're a citrus.
POV, fucking die. Part 8. No. So yeah, he kind of goes through.
Wait, I didn't see any of that. I didn't get to say goodbye or see any of the death.
No, you're unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
What a character motive. I mean, what, huh?
I suppose Damien made efficient work of this one.
The decision is correct.
What's up?
Nothing. I just heard a
Something
panel
fell.
just fell off the wall.
Nice.
It's a really weird
I didn't
sound.
know how Clementine died, I didn't know how Lloyd died, and I didn't know how Rose died.
I think you were brought up to 1 HP
right before
right
Tanger.
after Lloyd died.
No, you would have been conscious to watch Tangerine get.
So you would have
that's the-
very
that's the
weakly
only thing
watched him get eviscerated.
Yeah, I was able to remember.
Yeah,
you
but
would've
Lloyd
been
would have
like,
been dead before you.
I
woke up.
know. He's mad about that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Dr. A is. Yeah.
You
Kinda
know
goes
what Dr. A do?
Yeah. It appears like they
What the
were.
doc doing? Sorry, continue.
It appears that the 3 people that he was talking to formed some kind of undead task force, and it seems like they had a 4th that wasn't there. Regardless, so what happened to them? Well, wait, no, actually, Dr. A would have seen the entire fight play out, so he would have seen a lot of it.
Yeah.
Would there be? I know I'm not there, but would there be any clues about like where they dispatched from?
Well, they wouldn't be able to see because they were in the trunk. We don't know. Did he drive there in the trunk?
He got in the trunk, and then the others drove.
Well, he would have been at the location before getting in the trunk.
Right. Can we discern where he was before he got in the trunk, or is that not gonna happen?
Dr. A can roll a check on that. I don't know if he'll be able to help him with it. Well, he can give some descriptors. It was.
And I have been around the city a lot. I might be able to figure it out.
Right.
Yes, that sounds like.
That's an investigation check. Give him advantage on that.
Did you just say that sounds like Walmart?
I went like. I'm like I would say the
That's
street.
a 26.
I
Okay.
think he could probably figure that out.
Yes, he kind of thinks for a second, and eventually you're able to discern that it is kind of on the east side of town.
That sounds like the east side of town to me.
But you're not exactly sure where on that side of town. So, something about that. But you're also aware that that's not necessarily super close to the other location that you went at with all the other stand users you met, like the other base. So keep that in mind. And he was in the trunk for a while, so there was a bit of driving that had to be done. So
their bases are spread out throughout the city, much like Cherry Wines.
it appears so. It also appears that they're actually intent on fighting against the undead.
We've known that for a while. They also keep bringing up this thing about the tide, and I don't know much about. And the tide can mean anything. It's either a sweep of something, or a rising of something, a lowering. It's a very vague term. I can't quite figure it out.
Detective George kind of thinks for a second. I'll see if I can check it out. I'll have Cop and I do some patrols around those areas, see if we can find a location or anything.
Make sure to stay safe. Remember, Ugly knows you're a part of this.
Yeah, I'll probably have to stick
Forgot
with them.
about. I'm sorry we brought you into this.
It's okay. Well, I gotta do what I can to help people,
Yeah.
I find it fitting that you drink from a whiskey glass while saying that.
It's water, bro.
Donovan kind of like his knuckles grow white as just a bit of rainbow flows through the scarf, and the intensity from the cold goes, and you can see like a little bit of crackle of electricity from the cold of the breath, the mist, whatever.
Detective Dr. A looks like he's going to stay here for a while. He's going to get an early start on the autopsy report. He wants to write the report for these two just to make sure nobody tampers with them or anything. But if you want to go back, Detective George is willing to offer you a ride back to the escape.
Got it. He will, but I'll also say something to Dr. A. Careful coming back. Careful coming back, of course. If you need someone to come pick you up, so you don't sunlight.
Right. Yes. Well, I lived for 90 years before this, so I'm resourceful. Don't worry.
I figured. And if you need someone else besides starting to help you with your life electricity experiments, I'm more than helpful. I don't need to sleep as much anymore, so I have a lot more free time on my hands.
I would certainly appreciate that. Okay. So, you kind of get back to the escape. It's pretty early at this point. It's, I'd say, around 7 still. So I'd say, Damien, I don't think you've slept a wink.
Nope, not at all. Damien would be awake and on the bow of the ship, just kind of looking out at the sea now. I got something from the pockets of Tangerine before I left.
It was like a phone that let you
he's
locate
gonna,
other lieutenants.
He's gonna idly flip through that right now, just see what's on it.
Let me give you some details.
So Damien has not slept?
No.
Yeah. Make a con save.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
If you want to adrenaline rush it, you can. I mean, not durability, constitution specifically.
Yeah, okay, that's a 15.
You can feel kind of the weight pulling down. Damien, you love to sleep, but in stressful situations, you've been able to pull all nighters before you kind of shrug off the exhaustion, so you don't take a point.
Cool.
Good.
You don't get the benefits of a long rest either, though. So you don't get the use of adrenaline rush back, but you get all your hit points back.
I didn't use any adrenaline rush, and
you get all your hit points and all that back. Right. So you're basically taking a short rest. You're fine.
Okay. Can I do one more thing? Very, very, very quick.
What is it?
I want to make a construct stylus with Hamon in it, and so I can etch out into the barrel of the Hawk Moon the numerals LIV. So they stay there, I assume.
Okay. What's the semblance of 54?
54. Well, it's the Roman numeral of 54 is LIV, signifying the fourth L, because it was Lloyd's Hawk, because it was Lloyd's hand cannon.
The fourth L was for you, it turns out. Okay, moving on so Ty doesn't absolutely fucking spatter my brains on the wall of this tiny room.
that would be hot,
at
though.
What Damien so you kind of pull up. You see Damien on the bow of the ship. Damien, you're idly flipping through this thing.
Through what?
Can see
the lieutenant phone thing.
Yes, there's a little device that he found on Clementine, which has a bunch of contacts. They're phone numbers that always.
Is Steve still asleep, or is he
he's
just
basically looking to see what kind of contacts are on it, and if there's any other information or text or something, photos, whatever.
Right. That depends what you would.
Steve would wake up. You said Damien woke up. It was around 7 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
Steve's gonna probably wake up around 8. I feel like.
So he's going to sleep in a bit. Donovan, you kind of pull up. Damien, you turn around and realize that Donovan has been gone. And that was kind of odd to you. But whatever.
Damien gives a slight look, but doesn't really look into it right now.
Right, he's not really super concerned about that.
Slight wave of greeting.
Now it's back. You're looking through the phone, and the phone appears, unlike Ugly, Clementine is most definitely a professional.
Fair enough.
You look through his phone, and you do not find anything out of the ordinary. It appears to be just a burner phone for only contacting other lieutenants. So you can see the contacts that are in the phone that are always kind of changing their numbers. Other than that, you can't find anything else on it.
Any information on the names of those contacts or any past call history or something?
No. They are labeled... Wait, hold on, what the fuck?
It's a weird label.
God damn it. Yes.
Your guys
okay.
are so similar. You can be
So
formed
the
into one thing.
contacts
One's
on the
ability.
device are labeled A through I. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then I. H is missing. And you could make an investigation check to determine
I
as
would
to
love
why.
to. That's intelligence, yes.
And
I think I'm proficient in it too.
Wait, hold on. Can I lean on the bar next to him so I can give him advantage? Help any way I can.
yeah, I'll say you're kind of walking up and actually no, I'll say that you're looking at this and you're kind of thinking about this for a few hours before Donovan arrives. Like it takes a while and you're kind of formulating your theory. So I'm gonna say no for this.
All right, that's all right.
That is all right because I rolled a 21.
Fuck yeah, you're good. You're looking through and you're kind of thinking that it's A through I, but H is missing. That kind of leads you to the realization that Clementine is probably contact H.
Okay.
So it's like letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I.
Because this was Clementine's phone? So presumably another one of them is T. One of them might be, or another one of them is Tangerine, rather. One of them might be Ugly, and then that would leave...
These are lieutenants, not agents.
Oh, right, so it wouldn't be Ugly.
Yeah, and Tangerine is a weird misnomer, and Ugly is an agent.
That
There's a
leaves
possibility Tangerine could be
7
great, but-
or 8 other ones.
Mm-hmm. We don't know if Tangerine's a lieutenant or not.
Right, okay. So I've at least gleaned the information that there are up to 8 more lieutenants.
Yes.
Which, knowing how much of a threat those two were... Oh boy.
Do you wish to... so you have the device with you. Do you want to say anything about it to Donovan? Do you want to kind of relay your theory and the information of it since Donovan's here? I assume Donovan...
As Donovan walks up, Damien, signals him over.
He'll
Shows that he's been-
awkwardly shuffle over.
He shows that he's been scrolling through his thing. There are letter labels on these contacts. There's no actual information. But from what I can tell, assuming that Clementine was H, there are 7 or 8 other lieutenants.
He sets his elbows on the railing and puts his head in his hands.
Hey, what's up?
As someone who's not actually involved, I'm confused. Why is Clementine H?
Because H is not in the contact list. It goes...
Why would you put yourself in your
A, B,
contact
C,
list?
D, E, F, G, I.
That's fair. Okay.
Because you
I get
probably
it.
wouldn't be in your other contacts list.
I get you.
Or if you are, it wouldn't be listed the same.
He puts his head in his hands at the realization that we'll have to fight 7 or 8 other as powerful, if not more powerful than Clementine. Oh, we got our work cut out for us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not much other information on this. I don't know who these are or any history of contacting them. Clementine was a lot more professional than Ugly, so we're not going to be able to abuse it like that. I could just randomly call them, but I feel like that'd be a bad idea.
Damien, no.
Hey,
For once, I agree with you. That's a terrible idea.
Thank you. That's why I said it.
Yes. So some time continues, and I assume that Steve,
Donovan, you make a terrible
Donovan,
window.
you have a massive head. It's great.
Sorry.
I'm just fucking with you, man. Steve, I assume that after a few minutes you wake up with the rest of them. Okay.
He's
He's gonna get dressed and then come out.
I was straight up about to ask him when Lloyd gonna come out. Oh, I hate it here.
As Damien sees Steve, he waves and looks at him. Morning, Steve.
Hey, Damien.
Hey, kid, you're good with tech, right?
I'd like to think so. What's going on?
You want to look at this? He tosses the phone to Steve without warning.
Do I need to make a dex check for that to catch it, or
You can have Act 2, just...
Steve's totally unprepared, and Act 2's just boop, right in his hand.
All I gleaned is that there's 7 or 8 other contacts in there that might be lieutenants. I couldn't find anything else on there. But figure I'd let you have a shot.
Steve looks at it and is going to scroll through it, looking
You
at
can
what he
make,
sees.
Either investigation or arcana, depending on what you want to try to find or what's
I
better.
will do investigation. That is going to be 25.
Fucking hell.
Hell.
We're rolling high this morning.
So
Ooh.
good news is, goddamn, that's a pretty good roll. Bad news is, Clementine really was a professional, and you can't glean anything else other than what Damien gleaned. You do kind of think about it, and with that check, you're able to come to the realization a lot quicker that most likely it's A through I with H missing. Most likely, Clementine was contact H.
Okay.
So you kind of come to that realization.
Yeah, I think you're right, Damien.
So what do we want to do with this? What's our next step?
Well, we can always keep it. We can always keep it as a backup. There's a chance someone might call it. I don't know if anyone can do a Clementine impression, but for all we know, they don't know he's dead. But
I think it's safe to say they probably know he's dead.
the static lady and the cloth stand Karma, I don't remember their names, but I'm pretty sure they got away. So I don't know if they're hiding out or if they went to go tell the other lieutenants.
Yeah, they probably did. And at the very least, Clementine and Tangerine were probably supposed to check in at some point.
At this point, we have to assume the worst.
Steve looks at the phone. Do you think if we called them, we'd be able to trace the call and find out where they are?
I think he points out the fact that the numbers keep changing. There's no chance we're gonna trace that.
Good point.
It'd be too risky. If we wanted to do that, we should at least let George handle that or someone who
I
really
will
knows what
point out
they're doing.
the numbers change, but it's not super. It's not like a cipher where like automatically changes. It changes once every hour.
It's like one of those like verification code things when it like will change every so often.
If we're
but
gonna
like
do that, we
once every
should
hour.
definitely have George's help with that.
Yeah, because we have a high schooler, a pickpocket, and Damian Drake.
There is no descriptor for him.
He
He
doesn't need it. And also, now that Steve is awake and seems to be at least somewhat fine, Donovan just smiled to himself because he's not dead. He's gained a new appreciation for those around him.
Well,
Hey Donovan, how's it going?
Morning hug.
He
wholesome.
gives it back. It's not like super tight. He's just feeling energized more than anything.
Well,
I'm doing fine.
it might be best for us to wait until we can see what our next step should be. In the meantime, we should do something to honor Lloyd.
Yeah.
Steve kind of falters for a second because he had, after sleeping for like probably around 12 hours or so, was kind of in that groove and then realized as soon as he said that, oh
Yeah.
God, Lloyd's not here.
The mood kind of drops for sure.
So after a bit, you see a.
You hear Lloyd in the back of your head. Way to drop the mood, asshole.
I shoot heaven. Wait, no, it's
Look up
Lloyd.
at the
I
sun
shoot.
and you see. Bruh.
You see White Snake with a gun looking back.
It would never happen.
Can I get a name in? So, after a little bit of time, you see a taxi pull up, and you see a man wearing an unusually heavy amount of clothing walk over to the.
Damien looks over and raises his finger and kind of like almost says something. Who is this stranger?
Hi.
Who brought the carpet?
It's Dr. A.
Hey, Doc.
I was going to have him realize it was Dr. Ray, but I rolled a 3, so Damien just was like,
Wait a second. Why you go?
why is Chewbacca here?
Why goes to boat?
Stop that.
For just to be extra sure, he twirls like the cane part of his umbrella around and flips it open and sets it over Dr. Ray as he walks inside.
Well, thank you, yes. I'm afraid this clothing is relatively safe, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. You notice that he's carrying what appears to be a small box. Well, actually, a small box and then an even smaller box on top of that.
Want me to grab those? Are they heavy? I have 9 in strength.
Hey, Dr. A, where you been?
Well, I just finished the autopsy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Of who I think you mean?
Dr. Ray and I went out last night and we went to the morgue to go investigate the bodies of Clementine and Tangerine. We got a bit of
Oh,
information.
that's a great idea.
We got a little bit of
Oh,
information.
shit. Why did we leave their bodies there?
I think we...
I took care of the matter.
Okay,
They're not coming back.
Okay.
I think you made sure of that, Damien.
Steve,
Hey, I don't want to see another hound dog, alright?
what's in the box?
Well, he's carrying 2 boxes.
It's your wife's head.
He
Um,
just got a letter.
Well, the lower box is
Thank you, Lloyd.
what remains of Rose, and the upper box is what we have left of Lloyd's possessions. I figure we need to. I figured Lloyd would probably want to be put someplace where he could see the sun, and Rose. He would want to be buried with Florence. So.
Where?
Right.
Where's Florence buried?
It's a public cemetery. They would have identified her body. They would have properly given her the
What was left
identification
of
and
it.
all that.
They could use dental records to figure out who
Plus,
it is.
Dr. A, as the head autopsy guy, would go over and be like, "Hey, what?"
Whenever Damien kills someone, the remaining area is a viscera cleanup detail DLC map.
Yeah, straight up. Well, he's only done 2 killings like that. You gotta really piss him off.
Only 2.
Oh, I also found more details regarding Clementine and Tangerine. They have their real names. One of them is Jonathan Hiles, and the other is Caleb Young. So, they lived relatively normal lives. They were twins, separated at birth, it appears, but they came together and they both lived strangely normal lives until a couple of years ago.
What happened?
I find it hard to think of them as regular people.
Well, they popped off the map. They just suddenly disappeared. It was a missing persons case for a while, thought to be a suicide, but, well, we know what they've been doing all this time.
Sewer swamp.
Any information about someone who contacted them and took them in or whatever, or they just disappeared completely?
These two are professionals. They didn't leave any tracks. Did my best, but... George said she'd be snooping around, but I don't think the chances are good. In the meantime, we've got a couple of people to put to rest.
Damien nods and clenches his fist. For sure.
Steve glances over the boxes. How should we handle this?
Well, Rose, like he said, wants to be buried next to Florence, but where do you think Lloyd's remains should be?
Maybe in a classic Viking funeral over the sea under the sun. He could maybe one day get eaten by a whale.
Oh my god, he could finally fight a whale. No.
That's true.
Lloyd would want the whale to win.
That's true.
That's also true.
Yeah, your box will lodge in his throat and kill it.
So we're thinking. I'd like to point out, nothing of Lloyd is left. It's just like ash that was scattered off to the wind. But
Right, these are his possessions.
These are his
representing
possessions.
him. Yeah.
So, but if you want
It's
to,
mostly firearms.
keep them, and you guys just give kind of a symbolic funeral.
I mean,
at the
probably like
site,
his
that's
cloak
also
and
a thing.
mask.
Is
The
the
mask was shattered.
All right.
are the like shattered parts of the mask in the box?
You took
or-
the shattered pieces.
Does anyone have a
I'm pretty
mending
That's
cantrip?
right, I
sure.
forgot
And you
about
have the replica, so
He asked in character.
I would have in that case he has them back in his room, just like probably out on his desk to be assembled.
but
Yeah.
the cloak is in the box.
I'm tempted to make a terrible day for rain joke because I have an umbrella. Honestly, I don't know. If
Okay, you can't not do the thing I mentioned and then do that.
my thing is interesting and symbolic. Your thing is stupid.
Shut up. We're not going to talk about it.
Okay, moving
If
on.
we're not going to do that thing, I want to know what it is later.
Shh.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, you will know.
You'll
You will.
find out.
I guarantee you.
Sure
So let's go for Rose's funeral first, since you don't exactly know what you guys are going to do with Lloyd's possessions and all that. So
We're gonna go to the public cemetery in town.
this public cemetery, you can see that there has been a small grave made for Florence. I mean, it's kind of a nice tombstone. It's a public thing, but it appears like someone did the best they could to properly give her burial with what was left of her. You do see a fresh plot of land that's been dug up. You also recognize several people at the funeral as well. Well, I mean, basically everyone on the ship. Guy's there, Sterling's there, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sterling is kind of looking down. She's dejected. Dr. A is wearing all black, like basically completely covering him. And you also see kind of an older woman who's there, who's just kind of got her brow furrowed, and she's just looking down.
Do we recognize her at all?
Go ahead and give me a I'll
Steve
say either investigation or nature check.
I'm proficient in investigation, so I'll do that.
Steve's gonna just try and figure out, like based on context clues, who she.
17.
Well, with the combination of Steve's context clues and your investigation, you can tell this is likely Rose's mother.
Yeah.
Rose didn't have a great relationship with his mother, but she still at least showed up for this.
That's good.
So,
Damien just kind of remains quiet as he watches the proceedings because we didn't know him that well in reality, but he died honorably and wasn't quite as much of an asshole as he let across at first.
yeah.
Did we know anything about like the rest of his family, like his dad or anything, or?
We know the bare minimum about him as far as I know.
It seems like the only family member who's here is his mom. You don't know if she's the only one remaining or what. But
Okay, Steve does have something prepared for Rose, so
Donovan
if there's
oh, sorry, you weren't finished. I was done.
no, if there's a time, he'll do that. What were you saying?
I interrupted you? Did you have like a more?
I'm done.
Oh, Donovan's buttoned up his trench coat. He doesn't need a virgin killer at a funeral. That is not a.
fair.
Oh yeah, Damien's not wearing his bandana, but he still has like the leather jacket and such.
Cowards.
Steve's
Kind of a
replaced.
respectful thing.
We're
Steve's
gonna
replaced-
be a little more respectful, yeah.
Steve has replaced his normal outfit with just like a simple suit.
Steve, would you like to say I'm sorry. Would you like to say some words about Rose?
Steve steps up to the podium. I would assume there's some sort of like podium or just like in front of the casket or wherever. Hi. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Steve. I didn't meet Rose until a few days ago, but in that time, I learned a lot about him. He was the kind of person who would stand for something greater. He had a strong personality, as we all know, but on the inside, he was a caring and kind person. I wish I could have gotten to know him better. Rose was there for us when we needed him most. I'll never forget what he's done for us and the rest of this city. I'm sure he's smiling down on us now, glad to see we put up that much more of a fight against the beating heart. Thank you, Rose. Keep your head up, King.
With that, he begins to be lowered into the ground, and you see the woman who resembles his mother kind of tear up a little bit after that speech.
Do we still have his crown?
Donovan has it in his room.
I assume you either would have kept it with you as a keepsake, or you would have buried it with him.
Donovan has it.
Okay. Might I suggest you dropped this king and then toss it into the grave with him?
You cannot say that.
I'm not
No.
gonna say that.
I would have if I had it, but
I didn't bring the crown with me.
okay.
Do we know what happened to the crown?
I have
Like,
it.
he has
It's
it.
in
You
my
do
room.
have it?
Yeah.
That is.
I looked at the blue gemstone and then blue
gets-
came onto the
Yeah,
scarf.
it gets lowered into the ground.
I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way, more like a...
You
Oh, I
guys,
know,
as
but
kind of
I've
a-
already made that joke.
As
Yeah.
kind of a symbolic thing, all of you guys toss at least one shovelful of dirt onto him. Just kind of a way of letting him pass. After a little bit of time, you see the woman kind of walk over to Steve after the funeral is kind of ending. She says, Did my boy really do all that?
Steve kind of stalls for a moment and then nods. We didn't know him for a super long time, I'll admit, but when he was here, he did a lot for this city.
I should have been better to him. I said a lot of things that I didn't mean, and I just hope he's happy now.
I think he knows you meant the best.
She smiles and looks over. 2 graves. Oh. I'll be sure to visit him. I've left him alone for too long.
I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Thank you. She looks off.
As a final show of respect, Donovan with his umbrella open crouches down. He's gonna like just make some flora right next to the graves with him on because that's like
Mm-hmm.
Put your hands down in the seat in the dirt. Spring up, yeah. Silently nods and then walks off. Okay, cool. So now we get to Lloyd's, which you all did know, which you all knew Lloyd a little bit better.
I would say so.
Damien suggested some sort of Viking funeral, and nobody seems opposed to the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So unless any of you have a better idea or plan.
I think that's
Lloyd,
fitting.
Lloyd was pretty eccentric when he wanted to be. This is perfect.
And he was,
Lloyd's ashes wrapped together and he forms just to get burnt by the sun again.
hey, no, Lloyd's physical remains are swept away.
For the procession, Donovan makes an M32 rotary grenade launcher with his.
You dropped this, king.
Farewell, good night, sweet prince.
Oh my god.
Out with a bang.
So
Would Lloyd be okay with this funeral? Ty?
I won't say, I'm not here.
I mean, fair enough, but
right.
ghosts.
I think
Like I said,
drifting over the
Lloyd's-
sea, being able to bask under the sun. Yeah.
This is more of a symbolic thing as well because Lloyd's
Yeah.
remains are already scattered.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you guys kind of put what remains. I assume the cloak is like the first thing.
Yeah.
You kind of put some oil around in the boat, make like a quick little rowboat thing, push it, have it like out to sea, ready to be sent off. It's kind of still anchored to the ship. If you all want to say any last words, now is the time.
Right, who wants to go first?
That's a great question.
I think Steve will go first, and then probably Donovan. Yeah. Okay.
Steve being the party's face.
And he's the main character. I mean.
Chill.
He's the main character.
Steve steps up again. Who is here? I will ask.
This is everybody. So, Guy, Dr. A, Sterling, Nancy, well, not Rose. Shit.
Really? No way.
Would
Detective
Steve's
George.
parents be here?
And even Shotgun Cop.
I would say
Shotgun Cop. Yes.
Steve would have at least texted his parents to let them know that this was happening.
They're both there.
Okay. Hi. For anyone who doesn't know me, but I think you all do, I'm Steve. Lloyd and I only met what seems like a few weeks ago, but
I will say that partially through this speech, you see another figure walking up to the boat. See, Guy kind of looks over and waves and smiles. You see this kind of weirdly scrawny guy walk up onto the ship and kind of walk over. He seems kind of uncomfortable. You can roll a history check. Damien, sorry, you can roll a history check.
okay. Steve would probably be talking but acknowledge this person. Would he know who this is?
22.
It's
Wait, no.
weird.
18, but still.
He's cleaned up really, really nicely. This is the slasher.
Oh.
The slasher's come
Damien
to pay his
gives him a
respects.
slight wave to acknowledge him.
He's
showing up.
wearing all black, and it appears like he's cut his nails.
Oh.
So
How
Steve,
respectful.
Would Steve actually no, Steve saw the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he kind of stutters while talking.
yeah, he seems to kind of silently come in next to Guy and all them, and he.
But
Right, Lloyd beat
in that time, I'd like to think we became friends. I won't lie, our values were vastly different. Lloyd was a realist. He put appearances aside and saw people for who they were, not who they projected as. And in that way, I think he truly understood others. Lloyd died fighting for what he believed in. He fought to save Trivago. We won't let his sacrifice go in vain. Wherever Lloyd is now, I hope he knows he made a difference in this city. And not just to its citizens, but to us, too. Thanks for your work, Lloyd. See you on the other side.
Dr. A takes his time to step forward and say his speech. I didn't know Lloyd very long, but I think it's safe to say that he gave me a second chance in life in several ways. I have met many people over the course of all this time, but I don't think I've met someone as... It seems like he was... I guess they just don't make them like they used to, is what I'm trying to say. Everything considered, he was a pretty good man. And he wouldn't want me to drag on, so I think that's all that I need to say about him.
Meanwhile, Lloyd is in heaven playing Slay the Spire.
Lloyd Gaming.
Look, I'm paying attention.
No,
I just have nothing to do.
I'm not judging you. It's fair. It's fair. Donovan.
Donovan takes to the stand. He closes his umbrella, puts it to the side, takes a deep breath. 3 L's. Okay. That's the first thing I ever heard him say. Lloyd continued to baffle me by walking on the ceiling and sucking another man's blood out.
Wait. Give me a second here. That was fucking radiant damage.
Oh, fitting.
There's psychic damage or psychic healing. That's what that did to me.
Continue.
He was such an interesting fella. We never really had a fight. We never clashed. We never argued. We just got things done. Even when everything about our lives seemed polar opposites. His undead nature, my life electricity. His cool, methodical way of dispatching enemies. My rash and on-the-fly thinking. His suave and logical personality and my social ineptitude. Even though the only thing we really had in common was our outfits, we were friends, sharing silent moments together, like practicing target practice when he got his eyesight back, or taking down Shinedown's user in base 10. We never had a single one-on-one conversation, and yet we grew close. Obviously, I regret not talking with him more, but I wish I could have given him a hug. He flips out his wrist and looks at the Hawk Moon, which I've already described. But mostly I wish I could have said goodbye. And then he walks off the stand.
You hear Guy and the Slasher both kind of silently sobbing into each other.
Donovan also wipes a bunch of tears from his eyes.
These are manly tears, god damn it.
Damien walks up and kind of clenches his fist. He's not used to giving speeches or anything like that, but he wants to give Lloyd a respectful send-off, and so he kind of clears his throat. Lloyd, 3L's no Q. He was a good man and a great fighter. He may have been sensitive to the sun. That's what the point of the mask was. But after all, in the end, he seemed just as human as the rest of us. He may have done some bad things out of necessity, but he fought violently alongside us, and he even gave me a run for my money whenever we sparred in that ring. When I first met him, I never thought I'd be saying this, but I'll miss him greatly, and I won't let his death be for nothing.
And with that, everyone nods. They send the ship out to near the center of the lake.
I take back the inspiration I gave him.
No, I want you to know I tried to orchestrate it so that we all included that line, but I think it is better than I did at the very end.
Yeah, my character moments aren't taken seriously as it is. I wasn't gonna make it worse.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. That would not have been in. Yeah.
Some time kind of goes on. The boat kind of gets further out to sea. You see Dr. A. He goes down into the bottom of the ship, and he comes back up. He pulls out a long bow, hands it to Donovan.
All right.
And then he gives him an arrow.
Requiem.
No! It's not that arrow.
I figured.
Oh, actually, we'll see that. No. But yeah,
Back in Black
die.
Requiem?
He hands you Requiem?
Requiem?
What one?
Back in Vanta Black.
Back in white.
No!
I'm sorry, I completely forgot to say. Sorry, before you send the rowboat off, Carl has something to say.
Oh,
Right.
okay, good.
Oh right, that was his opposite. Wait, no.
Lloyd was a very interesting figure. I Well, first thing I knew, Hamas was my enemy. I was just doing my job, and he showed up and attempted to kill me. But, you know, it kind of happens. It's regular occurrence.
I think Carl removed his head, actually.
We never knew about that.
Yeah, we never saw that.
We just saw Lloyd's mangled body on the
Everyone-
floor of the
Punch
museum.
Lloyd.
Us three are just like looking down at the ground and we hear that and we just look up slowly like...
I would just
accidentally...
that makes a lot of sense,
I
actually.
accidentally punched his lung out, but it grew back, so everything was fine. No harm, no foul.
Don't be such
He
a
wasn't
baby.
using
Don't
it.
be such a baby. Lungs grow back.
Yes, I do. No, they don't. wait. Archimedes. No. So...
Weezer, no.
They don't grow back?
But more importantly, Lord had this medicine, and I think that while there's a chance that he could have used it on himself or someone else, the rest of that medicine is going to go to my mother. She's not been doing well, but I've given it to her recently, and she's shown improvement. She's recognized me. So for that, I am forever indebted to him, and it's said that the undead don't have souls, but I think we have a very strong case against that in this case. Goodbye.
Can Steve like roll insight or anything to tell what the medicine he was talking about was? Or like, would that be history?
Roll,
or, like...
roll medicine with fucking disadvantage, dude.
Yeah, I
Medicine
don't know
using
if you-
intelligence with disadvantage.
Okay, so
I
just
hate how you do that.
yeah. So just
It's a kind of
Well, that
medicine
sucks. 6.
using intelligence. Yeah, you have no fucking clue.
Would it be?
I guess he's the only one who would have realistically like. Yeah.
Would it be in poor taste to use rippling weapon on the arrow? How else is this thing gonna catch on fire?
You can light it on fire with a regular lighter, or
right.
if you wanted to, fuck yeah, do it.
You can make it back in black lighter.
No,
You
I
could-
can't.
You could
no.
tape a canister of propane to it.
Brandy.
Or just a grenade.
Brandy.
Oh, yeah.
Brandy, can I borrow your lighter again?
Or Brandy could just use her stand.
Oh,
Right?
Brandy Enabler there. I completely forgot. Yeah.
Brandy could just use her stand to light it, right?
No, she needs the fire.
Which one is
Okay.
Brandy,
I remember.
the fine girl.
Hell, I need.
It's a reference. Brandy, she's a fine. Whatever.
Okay.
Thanks.
Donovan somehow knows how to use a bow.
He has weapon master.
I do. I'm glad I know how to use this.
Alright, you grab and use the longbow, fire the arrow off, and lands solidly, erupts into flames. Takes a few minutes, but the bow goes into the water.
Damien salutes as he watches it.
After a while, some time continues, and things kind of happen. And as you all are kind of waiting here at the boat, you're kind of thinking, shit, all this happened. What's going to happen next? When all of a sudden you see an unfamiliar car pull up to the port. And that's where we're going to end this week's episode.
All right. Oh. Wahoo!
It's me, Clementine 2. I have another job for you at the second Big Lots.
No! Tangerine.
It's me.
Tangerine! No!
Two. All right, see y'all.
It's just the theme